Good afternoon, everyone. This is Mrs. Sorrells. I know you love hearing Coach Nelson teach, but today you get to listen to me. We're going to cover a couple things today. We're going to cover the mean, the median, the mode, and the range. So make sure you have your notes out in front of you and you're following along and filling in with me. You need to complete the form after you finish the video, but remember, if you come up with any questions during the video, just jot them down on your paper. That way you can remember the question and put it into the online form. If I talk too fast, you can pause it, and if you need to hear it again, remember that you can always rewind it. Alright, here we go. The first thing we're going to cover is the median. So the question is, what is the median? Okay, the median is going to actually be just the middle number in a set of data. Whoops, I skipped way over. Okay, and we know that data, tomato, doesn't matter. Okay, but remember that data is just, a list of it is just a normal list. It could be about anything. Alright. First thing we're going to do is we're just going to jump in and look at an example. So we have a list here looking at example 1. Okay. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers in that list. The first number is 45, then 56, then 89, then 91, then 54. When you read them out loud, you can see it doesn't really sound right because the 54 is not in the correct place. Okay, just like stem and leaf plots, you need to make sure that they're in numerical order from least to greatest. So let's come up here and let's order them so that we can get the correct median. Okay, so 45 comes first, then 54, then 56, 89, and 91. Okay, so now we have our list in numerical order. Alright, so here's the method I like to use. It's called the cross-out method. You can also do what's called the rainbow method and connect the numbers. I'll show you both. Okay, first one, let's do cross-out. So I need to find where the middle is, so I'm going to take and cross off the first number, and when I do that, I have to cross off the last one. They're like a partner, they go together. Alright, then you'll say bye bye to 54, and that means 89 is now gone, which leaves you with 56 all by his lonesome self. Okay, he is actually directly in the middle, so he is the median. So right here is going to be the median is 56. Why? Because it lies right in the middle of the numbers. Okay. Example number 2 is a little bit different. Now we have 6 numbers in the list, which is an even number. We have 12, 15, 18, 19, 22, and 25. Okay, this one's in numerical order, so step 1, check that off. And then let's go ahead and I'll show you the rainbow method on this one. The way you do this is look at the 12, and you're going to connect it to the 25. And so that would be just like crossing it off, okay? And so then you'll go to 15 and the 22 are now out of the list, and then 18 and 19 go together. So you're thinking, what in the world? There's not a middle number. You're right, and it's because there are 3 on each side, okay? So what you have to do is you have to figure out what's the middle of 18 and 19. So we don't know what the median is right now. It is. So we got to figure out what is the middle of 18, 19. So right here it says there's not actually a number in the middle. So you have to find the middle of the two numbers. The middle between 18 and 19, right in the middle of that would be 18 and a half. That's your midpoint. So your median then becomes 18 and a half. Okay. Alright, now we're going to move on to the mode. Start out with the same question. What is the mode? The mode is the one that occurs the most often. The mode is not necessarily the largest number. That's the most common mistake. Okay, just because it's the biggest number does not mean it's the mode. It's the one that the answer you get the most. Okay, so let's look at this graph down here. We've got, let's say, it doesn't have a title, but I'm going to make a guess that this is favorite color. So 3 people answered blue as their favorite color. 2 answered green. 6 answered yellow. And 4 answered purple. Alright, so if you look at the graph, you can clearly see that yellow is the tallest, meaning most people answered yellow, so that's what your mode is going to be. Alright, that one's quick and easy. Moving on. The range. Alright, so the range is the difference between the largest number and the smallest number. Goodness gracious, I can't find where. Here we go. The largest number. Wrong. Jumping ahead. It's the difference. Just testing you, making sure you caught that. Alright, so range is the difference between the largest number and the smallest or the least. It shows you how much your answer varies, so you can see it goes from what to what. Okay, so what operation are you going to use? Well, if you're talking about the difference, you should know that we are talking about subtraction. Okay. Alright, let's look at this graph. Let's say it's favorite colors again. So we've got blue, 3, 2, green, yellow, 6, and purple 4 again. The same exact graph. Alright, so now we got to identify the largest and the smallest. Well, we can see the largest is 6, okay? So 6 is our largest, and we are going to find the least, which is green, 2. So the difference between 6 and 2 is 4, so your range is simply 4. That's the difference. Alright, moving on. And the last one, last but not least, this one is the mean, and I like to say that this one is the meanest to help you remember. It has the most steps. Okay, so what is the mean? The mean is the average of all the data. The average of all the data. Alright, now you ask what's average. Average is a good representation to show if you had to kind of summarize what you think the group or whatever the list is, it would be that number that you would say generally, not necessarily you saw the most, but that would represent the list the best. Okay, so here's how you find the mean. You have to add up all the data, so you have to add up all those numbers. Then you have to divide. Oh my goodness. That number. And what do you divide by? You just divide by however many numbers are in your list. Okay, and I'm going to show you an example of this, of course. So let's pretend this is probably the most real life example here. Let's pretend that this is your report card. Okay, you have me for math, you're making a 92. Miss Kemp, you're at 85. Miss Blanda, you have a 98 for theater. Miss Upton, for social studies, you have a 90. And Miss Gorman, you have an 87. Okay, so you want to find your average grade. Alright, so what do? You first have to add them all up. 92, 85, 98, 90, and 87. Okay, so add them up. Alright, so 5 and 2 is 7. 8 and 7 is 15. And then if you add 15 plus 7, you get 22. So you're going to put the 2 down here, carry the other 2. This is 11. 11 plus 8 more is 19. So those 3 equal 19. These 2 equal 18. And then let's add the 8 on. So let's come over here somewhere. Let's add 19, 18, and 8. Okay, 9 plus 8 is 17. And then 17 plus 8 is 25. So you get 45. Alright, so you have a total of 452 points. Now, is that your average? No, you're not going to have a 452. You have to remember the last step. The last step is you've got to divide that number by however many grades you have. And in this case, what do you have? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what you divide by. Okay? So, how many times does 5 go into 4? A big old goose egg. 0 times 5 is 0. Subtract, you get 4. Bring down your 5. How many times does 5 go into 45? It goes in there evenly 9 times. Okay. There we go. And then bring down the 2. Can 5 go into 2? No, it can't, but you still need to put this 0 up here. Okay? 0 times 5 is 0. Now, we don't do remainders anymore, so we need to add a decimal up here and a decimal in your answer. And I can add a 0 here because that doesn't change that number. It's still 452. So when you bring it down, now you have how many times does 5 go into 20? And that leaves you 4 times. So your average would be a 90 and 4/10. Okay, let's fill in these blanks. I've been talking and we didn't fill it up. So all these equaled 452, and then we divided by 5 because there are 5 numbers in the list, and that left us with an average of 90 and 4/10, which, let's estimate that 4 would actually not help us round up, so you would be left with a 90. You are an A honor roll student. Alright, that's all I have. Again, if you have any questions, we covered 4 different things, so you might be thinking you have some questions. So make sure you ask so that we can help you when you get to class tomorrow. Alright, see you tomorrow.